Okay, this is the War Report podcast, live and in public. We're short a couple people at the moment. Vince is running a couple minutes late, so the host will be with us shortly. We got Ryan, the intern, and we got Eric, who will be also joining us shortly. He's actually currently on another podcast with Adam and Samantha Daly, and he's doing some TagMeADate promotion there, so he'll be joining us in a little bit. But Ryan, what's going on with you, bud?
Another week, another Raw. Ready for some Smackdown night. You get to watch that live.
Well, we also got the fucking pay-per-view.
That too?
Can't forget about that. Although I have to tell you, I was pretty unimpressed with the pay-per-view.
I was all right with it.
I don't know. I don't know if it was the booking, if it was the finishes.
I think it was the booking. Nothing really changed or ended.
Well, nothing changed, nothing ended. There was nothing that was like, holy shit. Vince, what's going on, bud?
So, guys, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Yeah, I was fucking around, not fucking around, but I thought I had like 5 or 10 more minutes, and I did. But I'm here now. So
happens to the best of us.
All right.
Nice shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
Loving the shirt. Very nice. Very nice. So we were diving right in. We were just talking about how unimpressive we felt Clash of Champions was.
Yeah, that's an understatement. Clash of Champions was not very good. And there was there was a 0.0 chance I was watching Raw the next night with like fucking football and the debate and all this other stuff going on.
Well, you know what's funny too, and we were just talking about this too. I taped the debate, right? But I was actually contemplating not watching Raw for once and actually watching the debate and then watching Raw later on.
Right.
And then I was like, you know what? The debate starts at 9 o'clock. I felt like the WWE was going to do something huge at the 9 o'clock hour to try and deter people from changing the channel.
Well, you'd think, right?
Yeah, you know, like, I don't know why, but there was something in my head that said Hogan was coming out at 9 or, you know, something.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Something.
You know, so, like, nobody was going to be like, holy shit, the debate's on. People were going to be like, holy shit, it's Hulk fucking Hogan. So it was very lackluster. I think Raw was pretty fucking shitty, too, and I think a lot of that had to do with maybe they weren't going to put so much into it because they knew between Monday Night Football and the debate they were going to have no viewer. I'd actually be very curious to see what the viewership ratings were for Raw last night because I have to imagine it was probably one of the lowest in history.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything yet. I usually look for those, and I haven't seen anything come across yet. So, it's usually Tuesday or Wednesday we get the rating for that.
Yeah, but I think Raw was pretty lackluster, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that the pay-per-view wasn't great. I'm trying to figure out why. Like, I don't know if it was, for me, if it was the booking, if it was a lot of the finishes. I don't know. It was the finishes. It was slow. It was not captivating. Like, don't get me wrong. There were some great matches.
Cesaro and Sheamus had a 5-star match going.
Stole the show. Best match of the night, and it was just as much Sheamus as it was Cesaro.
Absolutely, but I think
the ending kind of took the wind out of the sails.
Yeah, the double count out was just such a dumb.
Well, it wasn't. No. It was not a double. It was a double count out.
Whatever.
It was. They just stopped the match because of injury. You know, but it was like I don't know. It was a very abrupt and, in my opinion, foolish way to end such a phenomenal match. Like, that was. A best of 7 is designed to give you a conclusion.
Yeah.
It's not to, well, shit, now what is it going to be, a match 8? And then you decide on Raw, we're going to make them a tag team.
Yeah, instead of you doing like an 8th match to settle it.
Right. And my problem with that is it's not even the fact that they're putting those two together. It's the fact that they would put Cesaro with anyone. He needs to be on his own. He doesn't need a tag team partner. Cesaro has shown that he is a main eventer. He deserves a world championship, and he deserves to not be in a tag team. They always wind up giving him a little bit of a push on his own, and then they throw him into a tag team, whether it be Kid or fucking Swagger or who was probably in another one before that. But it's just let him go on his own. He can, and they proved it. They did such a great match at the pay-per-view. And again, I think that was match of the night by far. It stole the show. The Rollins Owens match, I thought was an okay match. I wasn't blown away.
Yeah, it was okay.
It was what it was, and again, the finish sucked.
Yeah.
The women that ended pretty much.
How long is Rollins out for?
I haven't heard that he's out at all.
He might not even be out.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably just a bruised rib. You can't do anything for it. You gotta just so he didn't wrestle.
Even a broken rib, there's nothing you can do for it, but time.
Yeah, so I don't know, but I mean, what else was the pay-per-view? We had here's another thing. We gotta fucking talk about this because it pisses me off. So, New Day beats the Club. Now, let me start by saying I love New Day. I love them as champions. Their time has come. My biggest issue is you bring in two of the baddest motherfuckers in the Bullet Club to the WWE, and you are making them look like a bunch of jack-offs.
Yeah, they're jokes.
They're jokes. They lose every other match, if not every match, with the occasional win. You give them a pay-per-view title shot, they lose. Now, I say to myself, okay, and I said this Sunday night after they lost, I said, okay, they did it because they're almost at 400 days as champions or whatever. They're going to have a rematch on Raw. They're going to have a rematch on Raw, and they're going to lose on Raw. That was my head.
Don't put them up on Raw. Just have them lose the pay-per-view instead of losing back.
But what I'm saying is, in my head, I'm sitting there and I'm saying, okay, they lost. They're going to have a rematch on Raw, and the Club is going to win at Raw. Maybe they wanted to give the New Day the pay-per-view spot. But then you have them lose again on Raw.
Yep.
So what the fuck? I don't get it. Like, are they being punished for some reason?
I think nobody should have told Vince he was Festus.
I still think that's hilarious that he had no idea that was Festus.
Man,
it doesn't surprise me.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened. He's probably like, shit, I hired back Festus. Fucking tag titles? No.
I ain't giving that
right.
Festus.
Plus, I think they never fucking mentioned Demolition at all before. I think somebody was just looking up how long the longest tag team title reign was, and it was fucking Spanky and what's his tits?
Kendrick.
Yeah, who's doing awesome, by the way, in the cruiserweight division.
I'm so happy that he's back.
I think, unfortunately, they're going to take the belt off TJ Perkins really quickly.
I agree, too. But let me tell you something. That was another match, both at the pay-per-view and on Raw. He is something to watch, man. He is great. And all of them, all the cruiserweights they brought in so far, I've been impressed with. I'm glad to see Kendrick back. It's funny because I play it out in my head, and I think this is how the conversation went, right? So it's Kendrick and whoever in the back. Hey, Kendrick, we need you to train Eva and get her ready for the ring. So Kendrick said, okay, then you're giving me one last shot and one last run. And that's how it went. And I'm happy to see him back.
I'm very glad that Kendrick was high enough that day to agree to try and train Eva Marie. Good for you, buddy.
You'd have to be smoking some good shit to have to go through a training session with her. I'm just saying.
But what I'm saying is, like, all right, so could you imagine him talking to like Fit Finley or Dean Malenko or Dusty or whoever fucking put that call in? They're like, hey man, we need you to train somebody. He's like, all right, well, who do we got? They have potential. They're like, well, listen. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying it's gonna be rough. And he's just like, yeah, you know what? I'll try it. What the fuck? He just doesn't give a shit. And listen, she went from nothing, from 0 to like 2%, which is nothing in the big scheme of things, but she improved 200%. under the tutelage of Brian Kendrick. So she improved 200%, but she's still not great.
Well, to be fair, we haven't seen her in a month.
We haven't seen her in a month. Maybe she got better. Maybe she changed the color of all of her stuff. Right? What if she just pissed off Billy Kay and took blue back? And she's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do all blue everything, and then that Billy Kay girl is out of gimmick. And then wait, Ember Moon is all red, right? Her shit's all red.
She is.
Oh man, we're gonna have a feud over the color red, like Bam Bam Terry Gordy and Bam Bam Bigelow fought over the nickname Bam Bam.
That sounds awful.
That would be terrible, but it would be a thing. Could you imagine an NXT? Okay, here we go. This is why we need Charlie to get Vince Russo on the line. Think about it, bro. Red on a pole, bro.
You're a dick.
Actually, I need Charlie. Well, I'll ask him anyway, but I'll bring this up on the air. Somebody put up on Reddit. They said we would like this particular person, and there was some other feedback on Reddit. We would like Bill Apter to do an Ask Me Anything question and answer on Reddit, and I figured Charlie knows a dude. They're good friends, and
Charlie is his agent, pretty much.
And Charlie's got this show coming up, promoting it, and I think it might be a nice little cross promotion thing. Get online, have him answer some questions, because it seems like the fans. I mean, people asked. This person asked, and then other people commented, and I said, "Listen, I'll ask because I don't know him personally, but I know people who know people."
I actually have his phone number, but
that's awesome. So we'll
I
think it would be good for Charlie's brand, and it would be also good for Bill, and it would be. I'm wondering what kind of questions people would have for Bill, as they.
I don't know, man, but I will tell you one thing about Bill. He will never not answer a question.
That's awesome.
He will stop. I mean, listen, I was with him in Dallas for pretty much a week. I stayed in a house with him. And we knew each other prior. So, but we got to have some meals together, and and then Bill and I went to the Hall of Fame together. Bill obviously went in another direction once we got there, because Bill had full access to the locker room.
Right.
So I was up in my seats, and then I met with Bill in the lobby afterwards, because I was his ride back. And Bill and I are walking out of the arena, and do you know, I'm telling you, it took us almost 2 hours just to get to our car. The amount of people, there were people that literally stopped their car, jumped out to come up to Bill and ask for a picture. And I was his personal photographer for the next 2 hours. But my point is that there was not one person there that he wouldn't stop and take a picture, sign an autograph. He is very humble. He's very thankful for the fact that even people not in his generation know who Bill is. And he's just a great guy. And I can't imagine if the time was right, and he had the time, because listen, the guy is busy as hell, and he's always on the road, and he's always traveling, and he's still very active in after chat and everything else. But there's definitely a possibility. Bill's the kind of guy, if he has the time and he can do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And plus, it's one of those things where like they work with a guy, they'll work with the wrestler, whomever's coming in and do the question and answer. And they'll say like, hey, these are the dates we were thinking, what's good for you. And then they'll promote it for a couple weeks. So it's not like, he doesn't have to do it impromptu. They give a nice time to ruminate and get people aware of it. And then, they mark out time that works out for their guests. So
right.
That could be an interesting. I would love to see what fans come up with for Bill, because they always talk about like Dave Meltzer is a big topic of conversation online, on Reddit, everywhere. Like old pictures of Dave Meltzer, like with his big curly poofy hair, come up. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
How you doing?
How
you doing? What is this, Enzo Amore?
Well, it's Carmella, so it's got to be Enzo, right? Oh.
That's my 8-year-old daughter. That
really? It says Carmella. It calls
she changed it to Carmella Fun Party. Yes.
That's hilarious.
My 8-year-old did that. She's obsessed with Carmella.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's funny.
All right, so we do have a guest today. I don't know where Eric is. I'm sure he'll be.
Eric actually will be joining us within the next 5 minutes. He was actually he was on another podcast promoting TagMeADate. He was with Sam and Adam Daly.
Okay.
Yeah, he told me that too. He said 7:15, 7:20, so I'm a little early. Sorry.
Perfect. No, not at all. We appreciate
early than late, right?
Yeah.
Eric's known me since high school. I used to let him actually write the wrestling articles for the school newspaper.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome. Oh,
there he is.
There he is.
Sorry, I double booked myself.
Way
to know where your fucking priorities are.
Like Eli Drake says, I'm a dummy. Yeah.
Dummy. Yeah.
I will tell you though, I liked the page on Twitter. So if you guys need it to find the link, definitely check it out. I caught the first 10 minutes. Eric, you did a good job, man. It was a good show, from what I heard anyway.
Awesome.
Well, if you guys want to hear a Carmella fun party, my daughter's actually standing right here, chomping at the bit to say hi.
The biggest Carmella fan, apparently. Yes,
Go ahead, Carmella. Say
Go
hi.
ahead.
Hello. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm a big Enzo Amore fan.
You're a big Enzo Amore fan. Yes, you are. Go finish your school.
Bada bing, bada boom. Biggest Carmella fan in the room. How you doing?
She just did the shuffle running out of the room.
Yes.
That is
You're raising
fantastic.
that child right.
She actually wore her Shane O'Mac and Shane We Trust shirt to school today.
Smart girl. She knows who to back. That's perfect.
Yeah, but we're working on the job. We're working.
She's fantastic.
I do have to say though, I hate her music.
I do too. I have to agree.
It's not as good as Soft as a Sin, you know?
And I got to be honest too. I don't know if it's that I don't like Carmella as a heel, or I don't like the fact that she's not with Enzo and Cass anymore. I think for me that's the difference. She needs to be with Enzo and Cass.
Yeah, I like them together.
Yeah, I like that too.
But they're missing that. And then they kind of touched on, well, maybe Enzo and Sasha will get up. Now that could be pretty cool too, but then nothing ever happened with that. So
Vince would actually like her this week, though. So
yeah. All right, so I have two questions. One's wrestling related, so I'll save that for a second. Another one's not. Did you know Eric when he had hair? What did that look like?
Yes, I knew him with a full head of hair when he would actually write. I tell him to write maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs covering In Your House pay-per-views, and it would be about
15 pages later.
3 pages long, and I'd have to cut it down.
Right, you have to cut the whole thing down.
We know each other 20 plus years about.
Yes,
Yes,
we have.
I remember, and Kat, I remember you wrote like something about NWO rules, Wolfpack rules in my yearbook.
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Yes,
Oh my God, I actually remember hearing that story.
Because you, me, and James Smith were the clique. Do you remember the video project we did interviewing him about Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mike Tyson?
Oh, God.
Oh, glory
What
days.
is this? Yeah, what is this?
Okay,
What is this project? Okay.
our themes and films teacher, Ben Amato, used to make us do these little scripted stories and everything. So our scripted story was, Eric, I believe, was the one videotaping it. I was interviewing our friend James Smith, who's now a pastor, but was still like a diehard WWE fan, like has a wrestling belt in his default picture on Facebook. Like
He has that belt.
full garb as a priest with a championship belt.
That's fucking awesome.
And he was doing it from the perspective of being a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan, saying, well, he gave him a little sign language, so we had to put him in his place. This was a whole video project that I think, if I recall correct, Eric, we got an A on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That's hilarious.
This is like 98 around. This is like 97, 98.
97, yeah, because it was when Shawn Michaels was pretty much retiring, and that's when Stone Cold screwed him over during when the whole DX thing happened, when Tyson got screwed over Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
So that was 97.
Wow.
She even knows the dates, man. That's awesome.
That
I'm
is
not
impressive.
I'm not much of a buff or anything. I'm really not. But if you really want to laugh, though, watch this. Autumn. Who's the first ever Intercontinental Champion?
Pat Patterson.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
That's fantastic.
Wow. That's
I want
awesome.
you to give me a question.
Uh-oh.
They're not trivia. They're not giving you trivia questions.
It's like I knocked that one out of the park. Give me another. Come on.
I've forgotten more about wrestling by now, I'm sure, than I've learned. There's just too much information to process.
So
Yeah, but
we
the
should.
longest article Eric ever wrote was actually I'm trying to remember what this was. It was just before Brian Pillman died, because he wrote about the whole Goldust, Marlena, Brian Pillman angle.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I had to cut it down to about a page and a half from the 3 pages he submitted.
Yeah, you got to try and cut, because that's a dense angle to try and recap for people who might not be familiar with it.
I probably still have most of our school newspapers, so if I find it, I'll tweet it to you guys.
Please. Oh, that will be a new segment. We will read a new article about wrestling that Eric wrote in high school every week. You don't even know.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
It's never stopped. I still write my fantasy bookings.
Oh, I mean, listen. We know you're all over the place writing articles and stuff, man, and you're still active and fleecing it out, as they say. No, but
We're a dying breed. What can I say?
Yes.
Yeah, we're the diehard fan like us are probably it's a generational thing. But
Yep.
we were talking about the pay-per-view and how not excited we were about it, and not sure how you and Eric, you guys feel about the pay-per-view that just happened, or if you even watched it on Sunday.
Oh, I watched it. I have the WWE Network.
Excellent.
Want to cover our picks for the week?
Oh God.
I did terrible last
I
night.
did horrible.
I called Roman Reigns. I knew that was going to happen, even though the whole Lana thing was stupid.
You're 1 point behind, Steve. I don't know why you said terrible.
Well, because
I know,
he usually
I
gets
thought I did
like
a lot worse
he
than I
usually gets a
did.
clean one.
It was a clean. But I think I'm most disappointed. Probably, I thought the Sheamus Cesaro thing was just really.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that right before you came in. It just
Really pissed me
was not great. Yeah.
Ending a best of 7 out of in a draw is the worst way to go.
It was, and then I don't know if you saw the exclusive after it was over at John Cohn's interview. Like, I called it because the doctors told me to. I was like, oh God, please, not again.
It's
Yeah,
always the
I
dark.
hate that.
I hate when the referees do that. They ruin it.
Well, and then now they put them together as a team, which number one I think is stupid, and number two I don't think Cesaro should be with a team. He needs to be on his own. He needs to be pushed, and he needs to win a gold. He needs to win some gold.
I agree.
There's
They
a
need to
lot of
stop
people.
pushing. They need to stop pushing Roman Reigns and start pushing other talent.
Amen.
Yeah, see, I thought that the reason why I chose Rusev to retain is because I thought Cesaro was going to win that feud with Sheamus and then get a U.S. title shot and win the
That's
U.S.
exactly what I thought.
I thought that, that was a good call too.
Especially with Reigns and Rollins standing tall at the end of Raw.
That was cool.
Well, they're throwing some teasers out because there's rumors going everywhere that we're going to see the Shield back together sooner than later.
How would you book that? I know. I heard Ambrose would be off TV.
The Shield?
Ambrose is getting
I'd
off?
probably say
Why
with
is
the
Ambrose
club.
getting time off?
Movie.
Oh, excuse me.
I want to mention this. I got a little bone to pick with the fans of Raw last night during the Cruiserweight match.
Oh,
Yeah.
Look, I love CM Punk as much as the next guy. But
It's old already.
don't chant his name. Yeah, it is old. Chant fucking Randy Savage of all things.
Yes, amen.
It's a Cruiserweight title match. It's exciting. It's cool.
Dude, chant Shagiri.
I thought it was a little disrespectful of the fans. I understand you have your opinions and shit, but
It makes no fucking sense at this point.
yeah,
It makes none at all.
You're right.
It's just ridiculous. Chant something that's more relevant. I mean,
Yeah,
he's not coming back.
yeah,
Get over it. It's
Oh,
not.
right.
it has nothing to do with what you're watching, and it just pissed me off.
Yeah,
The
no, I
only night
agree.
that's acceptable is the night after WrestleMania.
All right,
Yeah,
fair
because
enough.
that's
There's the chance is actually remote that he'll come back at Raw after Mania instead of the Raw on middle of September.
Well, the fans are doing some really stupid chants lately anyway, because their response even to like the Universal title and everything was stupid.
Yeah,
right.
they
There's
didn't
no
like the
reason to
belt.
go on. I mean, I didn't really like it either, but I moved on with my life after 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it that it didn't. It's a cheap looking belt. It really is. But still, what's the point of then don't pay for your freaking ticket
Listen,
and go home.
at the end of the day, the same people that are complaining about it are the same people that are going to spend the $400 and buy it. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Very
people
true.
But it's
like
just
to
stupid.
bitch.
Sometimes the fans are really stupid with some of the crap they pull.
Quite frankly, some of the time I don't understand why fans are even fans to begin with.
That's
if,
a really
if,
good question.
if you hate
know why?
it that much, then stop watching the fucking show.
Yeah.
I
Because
asked
they
them-
want to sit on Santa Claus's lap like Chris Jericho. That's why.
That was, by the way, the most entertaining part of Raw.
That was
Jericho's promo and then the whole.
Yeah, but you had to wait 2.5 hours to get there.
What are you, Santa Claus?
Are you Santa Claus? Yes, that's the way the cat said it. Santa Claus?
Even
No, I said
Kevin
I'm gonna
Owens
punch you in the
looked at
face.
Jericho like, what the fuck did you just say?
You wanted to sit on my lap. No, I didn't. I said I want to hit you in the face.
I love the
The
guys are going on
dynamic
my
of the
list.
two of them is unbelievable.
Oh yeah, those guys are great together. They're really, really good together.
They're fantastic. The chemistry
They
is
are.
But
perfect.
you know what they have? It.
they definitely have it.
By the way, did you guys notice the New Day shirt? Because they have a new shirt like every week now.
Yeah.
Who? I want to get the shirt.
With a box of bootios.
Oh, I need to have the
I
booty.
have
I know. My daughter's screaming, I want a box of bootios. Go ahead.
Ryan,
Waiting for Bootios. Since I started listening to New Day say about it, like, what is Bootios? Like, what? Crap.
Studios. They making sure you ain't booty.
Hey, that's why I ate booty today.
I still need to figure out if Bootios are gluten free, and then I can have.
My favorite wrestler,
Yeah, I ain't giving
technically, like, right now,
Mhm.
my favorite wrestler, technically, right now, I have, like, 2. Ento More, but I have, like, a tie. So,
In this century, Autumn.
I have, like, Ento More and, TJ Parkins.
TJ, okay.
Wow, okay.
Wow,
At least she's smart.
that's great. That's really
Although I
awesome.
do like what they're doing with Brian Kendrick right now, I will admit.
I
Yeah,
love
we're saying that too. We're very happy with Brian Kendrick.
Oh, she was sitting with, I was applauding at the top of my, and screaming at the top of my lungs when he did that on the pay-per-view. I was so happy.
Here's a question. Does anyone know, did Paul London retire from the ring?
Yes,
Yes.
he did.
See, listen, Autumn's responding. Yeah, he retired.
Yeah, because I watched a video of him and he said like all of his career, like how long and how.
Yeah, no, he retired after he lost. Oh my God, I don't even remember what it was, but he did. He did announce his retirement. Yeah, along now with the Tyson Kidd just put in for his retirement too.
Oh wow.
And the Dudley Boys.
No, the Dudley Boys retired from WWE. They didn't retire altogether.
Well, I think Devon might,
Devon kind of retired. He's working as an agent for WWE.
but that doesn't mean he won't wrestle again. It's just that he's working backstage.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's more.
But it's going to be mostly backstage. But I'm saying it's not unlikely for him to put the camouflage back on the glass.
No, I'm just saying it's more likely now than back when they had their retirement.
Right.
Yeah, well, he showed up at Bully Ray showed up at what was it? Tommy Dreamer's show about a week or so ago.
Yeah, House of Hardcore.
Yeah.
I would have told you that show with Hardy and who's
No.
what's his new name now?
The New Brood, what, with Gangrel?
No,
Ooh.
Damien Sandow.
Oh, Aaron Rex.
Aaron Rex.
Aaron Ram.
So, since we're kind of diving into TNA, I did want to kind of bring this up. So, there have been rumors going around that Vince is looking to purchase TNA. And now the latest news today is that TNA doesn't even have enough money to do Bound for Glory. So, and then on the other side of that, you have Triple H saying he wants to bring the whole Broken Matt Hardy character to the WWE. So if he winds up buying TNA, I mean, listen, if that was to happen, this could be a new NWO type of deal that they can put together. I mean, you got guys that they would have to want to hold on to, like EC3. Yeah. Even Drew McIntyre, they got to keep around because Vince was high on him at one point.
Lashley,
you got all these guys. Well, Lashley, I don't know. Lashley left because of racist shit, so I don't know if he'd want to come back.
On good terms.
Could you imagine how pissed would you be if you're Cody Rhodes?
Yeah.
Right?
That'd be hilarious. I'm not
Why
gonna
didn't you ask him that the other day, Eric?
He's gonna be the Jeff Jarrett of this whole situation. Vince will fire him on live television.
Oh
Cody
God,
was
Jeff
awesome.
Jarrett. Ugh.
Cody's a good dude.
Cody was so professional. He remembered us, and he was dashing, man. I gotta say, he was wearing a damn shirt and tie.
I told you, man.
Professional.
He always wears a suit.
Comes in shaking people's hands, and oh my God, it was.
Yeah.
He really is. He's a really nice guy.
He loves Stacy's cupcakes.
That's great.
I'll tell you who loves Stacy and that's Jerry Saggs.
Oh.
Yeah, so there was another Jerry Saggs.
No, not again.
Eric, go ahead.
He I go and meet the Nasty Boys, say hello. I said I'm from TagMeADate. You work with my couple of my guys, at a couple of events. They're like, as soon as I mentioned my boss's wife, they're like, wait a minute, I'm not sure if I remember. I showed the picture. They're like, oh yeah, how's she doing? Where is she?
Oh no.
Yeah, he's all about Stacy.
What was their excuse the first time they hit on Stacy?
Oh, because we're nasty. They were great though. They're both
They
hilarious.
were one of my favorite tag teams. I used to love them.
I really want to. Now I need to see the Nasty Boys hitting on your wife.
Holy shit!
Dude, it's hilarious.
I want to know. Do they tell her they're going to take her to Pity City? Like, what do you say? What do they say?
Well, I said that to him because I saw him. I saw him in Dallas when we were at WrestleCon because they were actually they were at a table just behind us. So I went over to them when it was right before the doors opened and it became a mob scene. And I was like, I need to talk to the two of you. So they were like, what's up? And I was like, you seem to like my wife. And he goes, oh, yeah? So I pull out the picture. And he goes, oh, yeah. How's she doing? He's like, same thing. I was like,
wow.
I was like, she's good. I was like, you got to do me a favor. He's like, what's that? I was like, instead of grabbing her ass, I said, do me a favor and take her to Pity City. And he was fucking rolling. He thought it was hilarious.
Oh, my God. If you slipped him a 20, he would have done
just may do it, though,
Yeah. But he had no qualms. He's like, oh, yeah, I grabbed her ass. I was like, I know you did. I have a picture proving it.
Just all you got to do is get one of those little baggies and fill it like a quarter of the way with baby powder and just give it to him and say, listen, just give her the Pity City deal. Give her the pit stop.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
She'd probably come home with divorce papers.
You're already on thin ice. I know. You know what I mean?
Reason for divorce, Pity City.
Can you imagine the judge reading? You paid someone to give your wife
irreconcilable differences.
a pit stop, sir. What is a pit stop?
You know what? Though my wife would take it like a champ.
And then somehow you hire Jimmy Hart as your attorney. He's like, baby, you don't even know. Pit stop is when the Nasty Boy Jerry Saggs takes it off, lifts it up, and then that would be the best defense ever. Nobody would understand what he was saying.
That's hilarious.
The best defense attorney.
So, what do you guys think? I mean, is Vince going to buy TNA? Because it sure as hell. I mean, listen, who else is going to put money into it?
He'd buy it for the tapes. Here's the problem: they owe so much money, they're basically upside down on the company. So whoever's buying it's not only purchasing the company, they're also purchasing the debt. So
yeah, but I mean, you're talking the debt is going to be minimal for Vince.
Oh, I know. A couple million is nothing for Vince, but when you have $0 and you're trying to make dollars to produce a wrestling show. That's when you run into that situation. So
That tape library would be nice for a bunch of stars, though.
He might just
Especially,
buy it
like
for the
all the
tapes.
X Division shit and like the early years. You know,
Right.
what
What
I
if
mean? Like
what
the
if he would
asylum
just
days.
what if he's just buying it to get a bunch of footage of Samoa Joe and AJ Styles and Sting and Kurt Angle and like all of his legends?
I mean, it's very
Well, then there'll
possible.
be another lawsuit for royalties. Then, like there's one going on right now.
That's right. One more. Add it to the list.
I mean,
Let's
listen,
just
it's
add
very
it, you know, on top
possible.
of the concussions and everything. Let's just add that to the mix.
Oh yeah,
I mean, listen, it's very possible that that would be his goal for wanting to buy it out. But you would have to imagine, especially with Triple H in his ear, that there's talent there that he would want to keep.
Oh yeah, I
around.
wasn't saying that.
yeah.
Talent, but that tape library is probably the merit per se.
Yeah.
I'd say he gives a contract to Senior Benjamin.
Yo, that guy is, you know, he's a star. Matt Hardy made a star out of his father-in-law, who legitimately doesn't speak a lick of English, and a boat and a drone. He
I have
made
to
these
say-
things popular.
Yeah, that drone has more character than some of the WWE superstars.
Yeah.
He's got to prepare the battlefield for Massacre, you know?
He gets such a big pop when
It
And,
would be, I would love a Wyatt family brother Nero broken Matt Hardy.
Oh, that would be a good feud. Yeah.
That would be a really good feud.
That
I
would
have
be.
to say, King Maxwell up close, he's so cute.
Oh, he's
He's
adorable.
a cute little guy.
Stacy, when she was with Matt a few weeks ago, she was like, "Can I just, keep him?"
Right?
And he's like, Rebby won't allow that."
I had a premonition.
Rebby might have an
Shit.
objection. I don't know.
Even when he called her over, he was still in full, broken gimmick.
Oh,
He
that's
was
great.
like, "Oh yes, you want to come over for picture. Get over here."
I don't know if you saw the video of what he did at the show I was at the other night, but it was hysterical.
What did he do?
Yeah, thank you.
I was gonna say I haven't seen any video.
I haven't seen it
Just
yet.
the
Yeah.
basic. I mean, it's something. I guess because I follow Matt on Facebook, so I
I do
saw
that as well.
one of the things I don't know. He just posted a video like when we fought the Bucks of Youth. That's
I
what he
love
called
it.
the Young Bucks, the Bucks of Youth. I had a
And Eric,
premonition.
can I ask you a question?
Yep.
Okay. If you, like you said, you follow Matt Hardy on Facebook, because I'm not that OCD to actually do that. No offense. But did he ever give an explanation what happened with Karma and Reba Sky?
Karma.
No,
Oh no,
Whatever.
those two have heat.
not really.
No? You heard about that, right?
It's,
yeah.
it's typical girl stuff. Like I hate to just downplay
that
it,
I
but it's
know.
like it.
Why do you think I'm
I
talking
know-
to a room full of guys right now?
But I mean, I know Kia and I know Rebby. They just don't like each other. Something happened in backstage. I forget the specifics. I heard the story once, but I've since forgotten it. But
Really, everybody was kind of in the wrong for that. So it's
yeah,
one of those
Well, no, I was just curious because I know you guys find out more backstage stuff than I do
think it
sometimes.
was-
Because
I think, like Kia was kind of hot because like Rebby isn't like the world's greatest wrestler. I think she'll even she'll admit to that, and like I feel maybe Kia felt like Kong felt like she was getting advantages that other women's wrestlers wouldn't get because she's dating or engaged or married or having a child with Matt Hardy or all of the above.
Right.
So I imagine it's something. It started as something like that, and Rebby's not wrestling as much now, and I think she kind of understands, especially after she had a kid. She really doesn't wrestle that much. She's a character now. She's
Yeah.
not a wrestler
right.
better. But
More of a manager, really.
did you guys hear? Netflix has the series that they're making about Glow.
Whoa.
Yeah, and
Wow, yeah.
Kia's gonna be in it.
Yeah, and not only is it
Fantastic.
Allison Brie from Mad Men and Community and
Yep.
Mark Maron, but it's also Awesome Kong
Mhm.
as one of the stars, and a bunch of other they're slowly casting names, and I think they're hiring probably some lesser known actors to give, or actresses rather,
and
to get
Chavo was training them.
Yeah, this the whole thing is wonderful that they're doing it the right way. They're
I'm
not
so
just
excited about it.
they're not making fun of wrestling in the way
Right.
that people
What
usually
is
make
it going
fun
to
of wrestling.
actually be though? Like, do you know the premise behind it?
It's going to be a fictionalized version of the backstage goings on of the TV show Glow.
Okay.
So it's gonna
So
be
that's
like
cool.
they're going back to they're gonna set it in like the 80s. I believe they're gonna set it in the 80s, and they're all gonna be like each person's gonna be one of the original Glow girls, and they're gonna have the backstage stuff going on, almost like I want to say like a 30 Rock, where like you catch glimpses of the show, but you also catch glimpses of the backstage stuff.
If they do it right, it could be really fucking good.
That could be really good.
Yeah.
They actually are having the girls wrestle. They're having them train. So I mean,
Yeah.
That's
it's better
impressive.
than yeah. I mean, it's better than just sending them out there. And
Made it to me yet or no?
I mean, look, we ran into Little Egypt from Glow a year or two ago,
Facebook friends with her.
and she was like nice.
She is a sweetheart. Well, we spent 2 days with her.
Yes, we did. We saw her at the hotel. I mean, I gotta say, like our whole the best part of that weekend was seeing Ivory at breakfast in her curlers.
She was
That's
so
great.
funny, and she came right over to us too. She was like, "Hey guys."
That's sweet.
They got to see every autumn. They get to see wrestlers all the time. This is what they do for their job. All they do
I
is
have a
go and
question
see
for
wrestlers.
Eric.
You have a question for Eric? Eric,
Okay.
can Autumn ask you a question?
Yeah,
Eric,
what's the
can Autumn ask
question?
you a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, sweetheart.
Who is your favorite wrestler?
It's a loaded question.
Right now, I
That
don't.
is a really loaded question.
It is
30
but,
years of
I
options.
still go to this, and this is just my thing.
Owen Hart.
Owen Hart was my favorite wrestler.
All right, that's a good answer.
Yep.
That's a
Good
very
answer.
good answer.
You know what I always say when I'm asked that question now? Per generation or
Yeah,
like
that's
per
Exactly.
era, or
You gotta
you
you
know,
gotta divide it up.
because-
Still
yeah.
got a lot of favorites now. Hard to choose. AJ Styles is probably up there.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
It'll always go down for me. It's always going to be hands down. It's always going to be Randy Savage. Sorry.
There you go. That's another
Right,
good
nobody
answer.
can shit on you for Savage.
Yeah.
He's the
I don't care where you go or what you do. And actually, Eric, I think you were one of the first people to actually contact me after they announced about his car accident because you knew I was going to be upset.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That was a hard
That
one.
was tough for everybody.
That's such a tragedy. All right. So a couple things that I found out online while that tie into what we were talking about. Raw drew a 1.75.
Wow.
The lowest Raw ever was like a 1.4, I think. So they're safe.
It was up against a debate last night, though.
Yeah.
Well,
and
no,
Monday
we
Night
knew
Football.
that this was probably going to be the lowest ratings ever. We just wanted to see what the actual number was because between
And
Monday
don't
Night
forget,
Football
too,
and the
Jose
debate.
Fernandez, they did the whole thing for him with the game last night, too.
Yeah.
Right.
So there was a lot going on. Also,
And Donald Trump debate.
yeah, that drew like probably 100 million people. Also, if you're interested in following the TNA story, JTG from the WWE, formerly of the WWE, said
Crime time.
he said on Twitter, "I need 500,000 people to go buy my audiobook right now so I can purchase TNA."
That's good.
And then he puts up a link to his audiobook. I might buy it just to see if we can get something rolling here.
I might buy it because I'm just from Primetime.
She can empty her piggy bank out, I'm sure. You guys, we probably all could collectively come up with the money to buy TNA if we really wanted to.
With JTG at the helm, they might actually last a while because JTG
I don't want to take on their debt though.
Right. Well, JTG's
that's
got that
big.
money, right?
he was there for years after he should have been out, and he still was. He always made the cut. He was
Him
always.
and TNA have a lot in common. They just hung on way longer than they should have.
Yep.
That might be the reason for him to buy it. They have so much in common.
Oh, Vince, how hard did you laugh when I posted the picture of me and James Ellsworth?
Oh my God, that's wonderful.
Who's he?
I feel so bad for that gentleman with no
Exactly.
chin.
Yeah.
He's the guy that Braun Strowman beat up a few weeks ago.
The very first one.
Mm-hmm.
With
Oh,
no chin.
The guy with the weird chin.
Any man with two hands has a fighting chance. What? He's got
These
t-shirts
people
now.
say he likes big, strong men. What the heck was up with that guy?
Oh my God, that guy! Holy crap!
He actually trained. Like, I'm on Facebook, and some people are like, "Wow, I trained with that guy." Like, I've had people come up and say it when he was on TV. They're like, "Hey, that's my trainer. Or I practice with him or whatever." It's just so funny to see.
He was
Like,
cool as hell in person, and real personable. I'll tell you who loved us the most actually was George South. I don't know much about him, I'll be honest, but he was like super excited to like even comprehend the idea of a dating site for wrestling. And it's like, oh my god, he had to tell one of his friends to come over. Look at this, and I gave him my business card. You know, thought it was
We
great.
had that with the Rock and Roll Express when we first met. The first time we met them, they ran over to who? I forget who it was.
To the Midnights.
They ran to the Midnights. Everyone's like, yo, you guys got to see this, and then we all took a group shot.
Wow.
Ricky like, grabbed me and he's like, hey, let's go over to the Midnight Express. You got to tell them. And then once we met Dr. Tom was like, are you on Facebook?
Dr. Tom.
Speaking of
Oh,
Dr.
it's right
Tom,
then and there.
speaking of Dr. Tom, who has really become a good friend, and you know, he's always there for us. I put out the very first tweet of the new TagMeADate.com that's coming, and kind of did a little promotion, and he was the first person to jump right on it and retweet it, and then I tweeted him a thank you, and he tweeted back. I mean, he's such a nice guy, and he was one of the first, you know, legends to really, you know, be there for us and help spread the word. I mean, he's a great guy. He's awesome. And it's Dr. fucking Tom Pritchard, you know, like that's awesome. The body done.
At WrestleCade, he like
The body Donnas. You did not just say that.
Oh, I pulled that out. Oh, and speaking of the body Donnas, shockingly, Sonny has been arrested yet again. I'm sure you want to see that story.
Not again.
I know. Can you believe it? She apparently violated her parole. Idiot.
I thought she had it all together.
Oh, she's a
Especially
moron.
with
That was just the boob job she had. That's all together. The rest
No,
of her
but
was a hot
wait,
mess.
you know what though? To piggyback on that real quick, you know what? I actually am with Vince. I actually did think she got her shit back together, and I'll tell you why. She did an after chat.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen it, and it was because it was long. It was like an hour long interview, and it was like a sit down interview with her. She answered every single question, and she honestly was the first time that I was like, wow, she really looks like she got, you know, finally got her shit together. But that was like a month ago, and here we are, and she's back in jail. So
They said the same thing that China got her shit together. Look what happened to her.
yeah, well, that's true.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was the thing. As soon as China died, we all kind of thought, like, we're worried about Sonny, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, being worried, you know who I'm worried about right now too, Constantino.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
Rico. There is a GoFundMe out there.
Rico, yeah.
He's not doing very well.
He's really, like, they're saying, like, this is like critical. Like, he's really not doing well, and it's all the concussions and everything else throughout the years. And I'll tell you what, he was never big, but he was entertaining.
Well, they this week that apparently even when he was wrestling with the concussions the 3 times or whatever, they told him, we got no one to replace you. You got to get in the ring.
Wow.
Well, that's just a shitty ass fucking promoter that shouldn't have a job.
Yeah, and also
Yes, I read that a couple of reports that he had a mild 3-point concussion or whatever, and they told him, we don't have anyone to replace you tonight, so you can get in the ring, but just you know, when you choreograph it, just don't take any shots to the head. You'll be okay.
yeah, don't bump, right? Oh my god.
Don't do anything that you would do in a wrestling.
Yeah, don't do any wrestling moves at all while
Best
you're
sideburns in the business.
I think he took I think he was even saying whatever that someone, like a friend of his or whatever, said that he took like a DQ like for 5 house shows for the next week, and that's how he can fix his concussion.
just got a DQ. Oh my god.
Took 5 DQs so he wouldn't get hurt. Really?
That's awful.
You
I
know,
always
he
liked
needs a pack. He'll be
Rico.
okay.
I was a big WCW fan, even when it was getting crappy towards the end. I was a big fan of the, you know, and then when that whole transition came in, like through, you know, the post WWE or the post Invasion, I kind of started sour on the product, but I really liked Rico, and I was really disappointed that they just stuck him with a 3-minute warning, and he was like a fashion designer or something, and he had these cheetah pants or leopard print pants. It was like, he was a big guy, he was a good looking guy. I don't know if you guys know this, but before he was a wrestler, he won both the British and the American versions of American Gladiators.
Yeah.
He was a legit stud. The guy was an athlete, and they treated him like a joke,
I
unfortunately.
think he was a police officer too.
Yeah, and he was a police officer. I've heard
In Vegas.
he might have had a not so stellar record as a police officer, but I can't speak to that. I've just seen news articles that say that perhaps he didn't have the best record as an officer. But
But the stuff
either
he
way,
did in W was great.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
he was the guy was a stud. It was and they once again it was just the period of time. Think about it. There was what was he gonna do? This was what like 03, 04. This was right in the heart of the Triple H reign of terror. You think any new star was getting over? Come on.
Yeah, I feel like singing "You Look So Good to Me" right now.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Oh. And yeah.
Palumbo and Billy Gunn. Yeah.
Wait,
Oh yeah. That's a way to. And those two guys took something that should have never got over, and got it over in
Yep.
that Billy and Chuck thing, because that was awful. That was really like
That was pretty awful.
That was bad.
especially when
yes.
at the end the reveal was that they weren't, and it was all just a marketing thing.
It was just a marketing play. Yeah, it was done badly.
That's
like
kind of disrespectful. Like if
Bischoff,
yeah, and then Bishop
thing at
Bischoff
the,
that saved it. You know,
That was my
people might
favorite
say
part of the
that's
whole
crappy. Yeah, that was the best reveal I've ever seen in
Bischoff
wrestling.
reveal was great.
Because he had the freaking this makeup. Can you imagine? He was probably in makeup for hours to show up
Yeah.
on TV for
That
10
was one of the
minutes and
greatest
then rip
makeup
it off
jobs
his
I've ever
face.
seen. I didn't even know it was Bischoff
It
until
was very well done, and he did a voice like he didn't even put on a voice, so you didn't know it was him.
yeah, he did a really good job, and just the joy he took when he was great.
or even 3 minutes. Or 3 minutes. And then he changes back to
Yeah.
3 minutes, and it's like, oh no! I might go watch that later. That segment. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh man.
One of my favorite moments is when I think it was the Edge and Lita marriage, and then Kane came through.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
The priest goes, Jesus Christ!
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Those
watched that on
wrestling
YouTube.
weddings are the best. The first one was actually they had to have a legitimate wedding because it was in New York State, and still to this day in New York
Is this the
State.
Uncle Elmer one?
Yeah, this is the Uncle
Yeah,
Elmer one. It
Uncle
was
Elmer,
a
yeah.
legitimate wedding because in New York State it is still regulated like a sport, and back then even much more so. So everything was kayfabe. The even to this day, if you have a wrestling show in New York, you have to have someone from the New York State Athletic Commission and a physician there backstage, and they have to give physicals to everybody backstage and check their blood pressure. And you have to have so many mats around the ring. There are a lot of guidelines, and back in the day, they weren't going to let them have a fake wedding, so they actually had to have a real wedding. And these two people, I mean, Uncle Elmer, and I forget what her name was, but they legitimately got married on television. They dressed. Imagine being invited to your aunt or uncle or brother or sister's wedding and having to dress like a hillbilly and stand in the middle of like Madison Square Garden or wherever the hell it was, the Poughkeepsie Mid-Hudson Civic Center, and you stand there and you're dressed like a jackass as your family's getting married on live television.
And the constant commentary yammering by Jesse Ventura was
so
Yes.
bad. Just digs on digs.
Oh my
At least
God.
you didn't have to hire like a wedding photographer.
and Piper was
I'm
on
so
them
sorry.
too. Like,
Oh yeah.
It's
That's
your-
Oh man. So we're getting towards the end of
Top of the hour.
top of the hour here.
don't you
Steve,
dare be sour.
put your Debbie Sour towards the top of the hour. But Steve, tell me a little bit about this update. How far along are we on the TagMeADate
Update.
update?
The good news is we are underway.
Woo!
They are officially starting the rebuild. Again, we are doing a complete overhaul, and I'm very excited. We're doing it from front to back, start to finish. The front end, the back end, everything's being redone. No more fucking error messages, no more issues, no more glitches. We have a new alert system that's going to be implemented. You're going to know when somebody checks out your profile. You're going to know when somebody sends you a message. Our messaging system is going to be completely redone. It's going to be easier. And more importantly, the site is going to be more user-friendly. You're going to know how to use it. You're going to upload video promos. You're going to put up pictures. You're going to find your future tag team soulmate at TagMeADate.com. And we got big things coming. We got an Android app that's going to be coming shortly after that. And then after that, we will be starting the Apple app. And we're excited. It's going to be 2017 is going to be the year of TagMeADate. It's going to be huge.
And it's free, always and forever.
Completely 100% free.
As they say, always and forever, keep it tight. That's from Up, Up, Down, Down. But will always and forever be a free dating app and website. I'm excited. I'm excited to see the changes.
I am too.
I'm nosy. I'm sure I want. I'm gonna be impatient and ask you about it all the time. But
listen, there's certain people, specifically the gentleman on here, that as I get the updates and I get the access, you guys will too. So I haven't seen anything yet, but it's going to be coming. I'm hoping we are going to have the reveal of the new TagMeADate within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So yeah, we got a team working on it, and I feel pretty good about how it's going to go. And yeah, it's going to be completely free. Who knows, if it's going to remain that way forever, but for now, it's going to be free. And it's great. We've already had some success stories, so be the next success story and find somebody to share wrestling with, because at the end of the day, as much as we bitch and complain about wrestling, we love wrestling, and that's why we do this show. And if you're listening, you like wrestling too. So
excellent. And Eric, thank you for bringing guests on.
Absolutely.
And also thank you for coming on with us, Kat. So this was a very nice surprise. Oh, she dropped out, but it was nice to have her with us. We had a drop in by her daughter as well, so that was a whole.
Her kid was fun.
Yo, I've never had to watch my language more. I was channeling. I taught, and you're not going to believe this. I taught elementary school music for 1 year.
Wow.
Go figure. I actually made, I made it to what, March, April, whatever the hell it was. But it brought me back to that because I had to not say.
How'd you part ways?
Shitty things. Oh, why? Because I was a student and I was going for music education, and then I realized that I did not want to be around children all the time.
Probably a good thing to realize.
Go figure.
I didn't mean to be rude and prying.
No, that's exactly why I chose not to do it.
I've got as you all may know, I've got a busy week this week. I'll be promoting TagMeADate on several shows. I was just on the WrestlingRumors.net SmackDown warm-up show. I'll be on Josh Lopez show tomorrow. I'll be on Wrestling With, and I'll be on the Pipe Bomb with Matt McCool. So a lot of stuff happening for a TagMeADate right now.
Making moves,
making $1 million moves.
That's awesome. Well, I think everything we've said that this evening at the conclusion of our program is what needed to be said. Eric, as I said, give your friend our regards. It was very nice to have her on, her daughter today. And we can always, if she finds some of those articles, we'll definitely have her read them for us. Give us dramatic readings of your wrestling write-ups.
Get a dramatic reading out of it.
But we can all get copies of it and try our best at this past Sunday at In Your House. That'll be a lot of fun if we can get copies of those. But
I remember though, I did that for the high school newspaper. I did all the random pay-per-views.
Oh, you're lucky because you were in high school around that right time. Because I was in grammar school, like middle school grammar school, when that was hot. So there were a lot of restrictions. When you're like 10 or 12. Instead of being in high school.
Only half my high school had Austin 316 shirts.
Yeah, see, they cracked down on. I mean, I went to Catholic school. You can imagine how well that was received.
Oh, yes.
When you said that. Oh my God, that's a whole other. We could do a whole show about going to Catholic school and being a wrestling fan. Oh man, I never told this one. I'll tell this one next week. Somebody remind me. Some kid tried to come at me, and I legit dropped him with DDT.
Oh, come on. You got to put the story out now.
I can't. It's almost 8 o'clock. I can't tell the story about how I dropped the kid. All right,
Sorry about that guy.
That's okay. We were doing our closeouts. We thought you dropped out, so we wanted to, before we closed out, we were doing our plugs and all that, but we wanted to, see if there was anything, any final thoughts you had or anything that you wanted to plug or make people aware of.
Obamacare's coming up. That's my job. So.
Oh, there you go. Open enrollment.
Oh boy.
Exactly. I ditched work to do this.
Oh,
so.
Wow. All right. Well, now she has to get back to giving health care to the nation. But so yeah, I guess Ryan, I'll tell this one really quickly. It was on my street, and there was this kid who one time he picked up a garden hoe, and I don't know if you're familiar with old farm equipment or old, like gardening equipment. Nowadays, it's all like aluminum and they're light and all. No, this was a big wooden, like 3 or 4 foot handle with a big, heavy, like.
Was it a
metal...
filthy, disgusting, bottom-feeding trash bag hoe?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was used as a digging tool. It definitely wasn't new. And he came at me, and I took taekwondo, so I did one of those blocks. Like I was able to get my arm up.
Yeah.
I had enough instinct to do that, but if I didn't do that, he would have legit hit me in the face with this gardening hoe. And I had a big bruise on my arm, so I kind of had like I was hot at this kid. So one day, and I don't know what possessed me to do this, his bike was sitting there and he was playing. So I took a broomstick and I put it between the spindles of one of the wheels of his bike, and I just pulled up and dumped his bike over. I was like, "Fuck this guy!" And I don't. What the hell am I doing? I'm like 8 or 9 years old, right, or whatever it is. I'm like, so I do this. I'm like, forget this guy, and he comes over and he tries to make a big deal. Luckily, he had just gotten off the bike and was wearing his bicycle helmet, because I swear to everything, if you don't believe me, I'm going to try and I should find the neighbors and see if anybody remembers this. I hooked him in the front chancery and I just dropped back. I had never been in a fight before, and I've never been in a fight since. I'm not a guy that gets into armed or unarmed conflict like that. But I swear the only thing I could think to do was I front face locked him, and I just dropped down and I gave him the old DDT, and he sold it because he got dropped on his head. But he was lucky because he was wearing his he was wearing the bike helmet. If he wasn't wearing the bike helmet, I probably would have actually hurt him with it. So that's
awesome.
That's a warning to all you kids out there to not use wrestling moves in a fight,
or at least don't drop them. Don't drop people on their heads
on pavement. That was the thing. That was the crux of it. It was, it was on a cul-de-sac, so there was no padding. It was just I dropped him.
I actually did have a fun DDT story. I was playing football, and this guy was being a prick. He was just tackling me randomly. So mid tackle, I grabbed his head and brought him down with me.
Smart. See, okay, so maybe the lesson is, kids, if you're ever in a fight at school, do use the wrestling moves.
Just make sure you wear a helmet.
Yeah, just make sure you use the right one. Don't use the Cobra.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, sign up for TagMeADate.com. We're revamping the website. It's always and forever. Keep it tight. I mean, it'll always be free. Check us out, 7 p.m. on Eastern Time. There is a time change coming up if you're listening in one of the time zones that doesn't adhere to daylight savings time. So you can check us out on YouTube. Go to the search bar, type in Tag Me a Date with no spaces, Tag Me a Date, scoosh it all together. You will see our Tag Me a Date channel with our archive shows, our upcoming shows, and any of the other things that we post to the channel. So we'll have updates on the new website. Go to tagmeadate.com and sign up. When the new site drops, you will be the first people to know. And we will see you next week right here on YouTube. Tag Me a Date, 7 p.m. It's the War Report.